I'm really wondering what they want to go ahead and complement the Selena with.
We saw yesterday that was paired up with the Marcel, but obviously the Marcel's
there we go.
is Harley and Melissa for the Selang or Giants. Understandable. I generally don't like playing the Selena against the Melissa because it's really difficult to find an opening to do damage. And typically when you are the mid laner, you are almost always the designated killer of the marksman, of opposing marksman. And I guess in this scenario, it's not gonna be easy. Nolan and then the Kufra, immediate Kufra coming up from FUT Esports. This is a massive surprise. But now Selang Red Giants do have access to Uranus or the Esmeralda. I feel like they have to take one or the other this time in this specific part of the draft because it will be banned out afterwards.
Well, I mean, Blotsvet played the Kufra yesterday in game 1, but that was basically because we saw the Fanny pop up, you know, so I was like, all right, this kind of makes sense. But he was pretty good on it, and that's one of the things you want to watch out for just because, you know, now for SRG, it's like you got to worry about. I feel like there's a good synergy between having these arrows and traps and then having Kufra. Like, there's so much information that they can work off of each other, but also give that to, you know, the Nolan if they want to, depending on how they approach that, or whatever ends up going in the hands of the XP laner, XC here, because we saw him yesterday. He was very aggressive on, you know, the Yuzhong. Even though they lost that game with the Yuzhong, it was very aggressive on it. I know he's played the Uranus, like you mentioned, though, too. That being open. The glue is that last pick over on the first phase for SRG. So I expect some of these to be towards maybe the XP lane for bans, at least coming out from SRG.
Yeah. And that's also true for FUT Esports. When I take away the tanky dudes that we're talking about, the Uranus is going to be a consideration. There's the Moskov, probably a Clint ban eventually here for Selang Red Giants. Oh, we'll see. Oh, Rafaela instead of the typical tanky hero bans, and kind of reminds me actually, nice. There was a time when they went up against Aurora. It was game number 2 of that series where SRG eventually won against Aurora. It was actually the Rafaela that savaged the fight for them. It was close, yeah. It was the reason why they came back to the game. It's because the Rafaela was able to
revive
a hero that will eventually win the team fights in the late game and combo it up with the flying clouds, and then it's fine. So FUT Esports are respecting the potential of the Rafaela for Selang Red Giants.
All right, last ban here. Yumes, hopefully he's feeling warmed up and ready for this one. Arlot is going to be the last ban, though, by FUT Esports. So now that we're done with the bans here, we'll see what's going to go in red for SRG. They still need potentially a mid laner right now, or they just go with they're going to pick up their XP. Is there a world where this glue is somehow flexed at all? Or are we just expecting it to just go to Yumes?
This is flexed. So you can actually go for your Stormy here, not your SRG, because Eudora is still open.
Yeah.
You'll find that Valentina might be another option because the Tyrant's Rage is also a good ultimate to copy in Finn case. There's a world where they do pick up the Farsa because they're going to be looking for burst damage to follow up. But they instead went for the Zushin, which generally does not like playing against the Nolan as well as the Selena, so I wonder what SRG are cooking with this Zushin.
Guess they just want this. They just want the crowd control, man. You know, I was always surprised because Jushin definitely kind of fell off after her bit of a nerf that she had, but she's still very valuable. Like we saw, even in MSC, they can still make it work. The last couple picks here, Claude and Uranus, being locked in by FUT Esports. So these are good pickups. I think all around, if you look at FUT Esports' lineup, it's very balanced. You know, you've got, I would say they could use a little bit more maybe magic damage, but again, they have the Selena there. There's a good amount of burst damage though, just having a Nolan, and then if they catch anyone, I think that's one of the big things. Obviously, the Claude was one of the main picks that we saw yesterday as well. Still very meta. And so the last answer from SRG will be the PHOVEUS. So that tells us, yep, Glue's going to go over to that roam for Yumes. Kram will go ahead and get the PHOVEUS. How we feeling about this one, Wolf? Where are we leaning towards here?
I generally like FUT Esports composition actually. If they nail the Selena plus the Kufra, this will be deadly. PHOVEUS has fallen out of favor when it comes to the metagame because of how strong the other XP laners are. You need a little bit more tank ability. Of course, the PHOVEUS is a tanky hero, but if you're looking at the heroes, the other side of FUT Esports, they do have a lot of ways to handle the PHOVEUS. Even the Selena. Technically speaking, the Selena does not really thrive in a game where there's a PHOVEUS on the opposite end, but there is a way for them to do it because of the stuns, right? Now, the only trump card that was weird. The trump card that we I didn't know that robots have Kiska. You know,
they got emojis, man.
Yeah, they got their own emojis. But yeah, what I wanted to say is that the trump card for SRG is this Melissa. With all due fairness, I think they built a lineup where the Melissa can thrive. And I believe that this will be what they are going to be looking for.
Okay, well said, Wolf. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is day 2 of the playoffs here at Games of the Future 2026. Once again, we've got 8 teams left. We sent 4 home yesterday, and now today we're going to be sending 4 again. Psyche getting some arrows off on Stormy, but you know, this is going to be a little more difficult to get off, I feel like, just because, again, it's a Jushin, right? So you also got to pop these purifies, as we like to call it, if they hope to go ahead and take down Innocent or Stormy there that they can work through. So one of the main things, again, that FUT Esports needs to do is start building for KAZUE to go ahead and get this momentum on the Nolan, because they know they need time, right, for RX. That's always what we talk about with the Claude. They need plenty of time to build up there. Oh, Blocksfed. Okay.
Blocksfed. I believe that the aggression is needed here for FUT Esports because eventually the Nolan can just take over, and they want to make sure that there is some gap between their jungler and the opposite jungle. Hardy's difficult to deal with, but now they're going in for the flicker plays. They nailed it. Oh, that's beautiful, Blocksfed.
Hey, you said given the aggression, they are not letting up. We saw this FUT Esports yesterday, and now Innocent, he has nowhere to go, and he's got no ultimate for this. Bouncing ball going to be used, and there's Muddles, but it's just not enough. Collapse down under the turret. 2-0 right now for FUT Esports.
And how about that turret juggle coming out from FUT Esports? The moment they went in for the kill, they just relied on their in-game knowledge and that flicker coming out from the Kufra, and then eventually the take onto that gold laner. They want to go for the turtle now, though.
Okay, good trade. I would say out of anything, you know, at least SRG is able to go ahead and recoup. They get themselves a turtle. They dealt with so much pressure already. Look at this again. Blocksfed jumping in, arrow to follow, but this one, not a fight they want to take, I think. It looks like he's going to be in trouble. K's able to actually survive. Exy still alive, and now it's Blocksfed to go down. You know, SRG knew what FUT Esports has been doing. Well, look at the adjustment they just made.
Oh. And now Innocent taking some damage on the other turret and shields, and Yumes will be there to aid him. So now the Giants answer the aggression coming out from FUT Esports by some sort of aggression on their own. Felt like despite not having the buffs on Uni, they still went in for that turtle take, and they eventually won the fight afterwards. And the crucial part there was that Kram was outputting so much damage, being a pesky PHOVEUS, going into the backlines, zoning out SRG, allows for SRG to actually equalize this game.
Okay, so if SRG wants to equalize the game, you know, they've already gotten to that point where pretty much that 1K lead that was built up by FUT Esports has been handled. They just got to make sure they allow themselves to not fall behind here because of the setup potential that's so strong for FUT Esports. But obviously, as the game goes on, you get a little more, you know, defense items built up for SRG's front line. You'll be in a better position. You're really susceptible to those kind of ganks, you know, in your lane, especially early on. Looks like Yumes is going to deal with some damage. Oh, It's not the pushback they were looking for, so now he's going to get the mounted. I'm not sure if they're still going to follow through with this. An arrow's going to be thrown out, and now trying to get away. Blotzfett just whittled down slowly here. Blotzfett going down. That's just so hard to escape a glue once he's attached. Turtle's going to spawn now, second one of the game, and right now SRG off that kill should have an advantage. Exy taking some damage himself. He should be able to heal back up off of this, but there's a dark wave. They're going to bring him back to his death as Exy falls. SRG really showing the smart fighting here.
Smart in a way that they're taking advantage of their numbers advantage. What they're doing is going in for pickoffs where they can isolate a specific hero, like the Kufra, for example, then eventually the Uranus, wherein there will be no response coming out from FUT Esports, and if they did, they will get taken out. It's a 4 versus 1 when they went in for the Kufra, another 4v1 when they went up against the Uranus. And SRG are just managing their numbers way better than FUT Esports did. And that's interesting because it's difficult now to regain your aggression as FUT Esports, because if you're the Kufra, you always want to kind of hide on the bush, inside the bushes, which generally means that you have to find someone else to scout out the area for you. So SRG, if they remain aggressive around the river, they can actually take this game.
Yeah, they can. Already putting pressure in the jungle. They're going to go ahead and do some work there. SRG now with the ones with the lead, almost 2,000 up to this point. Some attention once again on Innocent, but now that Innocent has his ultimate, he's a lot more safer than when he was pre-level 4. It'll help him enough to go ahead and deal with, Kufra trying to jump towards him, or even RX trying to set up a play with the Blazing Duet or anything else. This next objective, though, FUT Esports probably wants to do a better job at approaching it when that turtle spawns. I feel like they got in this position where it was just too easy for Yumes to get that attach and then just, bring one of the members of FUT back. Oh, there's a jump in. Rage Revenge, there it goes. It's Yumes, though, again, attaching to Blotzfett. Blotzfett, he's going to go ahead and try to get away from this. An arrow's going to land. Good return, though. Yumes actually going to be punished this time. Good setup. So FUT Esports, Wolf also adjusting on the fly.
Oh, yeah. And that's an important kill onto Yumes, although that's just a roamer that will give them a lot of room to work with when it comes to positioning themselves around this next objective. But of course, it seems like SRG are reacting properly as well. They fast cleared their own lanes, and now they will be the ones to first get into the turtle. And the turtle is now low.
Turtle's low, secured by SRG, so they got 3 for 3. Now they're going to be looking for a body here as they find Blotzfett. Another kill on the board for SRG. All objectives are pretty much secured for them, too. There's still some fight here for FUT Esports, though. They're not falling too far behind. They've just got to stop the bleeding happening across the map. Yumes jumping forward. Psyche's there. Yumes, though, he's going to burn the flicker. And Psyche, we're going to pack the kill, but he can't. Slowly burning away. Now Psyche going to be in trouble as Stormy will take him down. A good response from SRG.
Yeah, good kill. Onto the backlines. They seem like they want to use RX this time, and in comes Blotzfett. Has to cancel the Tyrant's revenge. Is not good at all for FUT.
Oh yeah, this is, again, tough. Fighting under the tier 1 turret. SRG's been working to go ahead and grab that. They don't just yet. They do quite a bit of damage to it, though. It's barely standing here. RX still needs to go ahead and farm up. I wonder where he is currently at in terms of the item build. Here we go. Good timing. Whoa, hold on. Blotzfett gets the Purify out. Muddle's going to be dropped down. RX, he's only got a DHS. That's one of the problems here. Deadly Magic going to be used. Nice blocking there from Blotzfett to make sure that damage doesn't stack up. There he goes. He gets his golden staff now, so he's a bit behind. Not too much. I mean, at the 8-minute mark, just picks up and finishes his second item. But that's could be the difference factor here for FUT Esports.
Okay. And what this means is FUT Esports have bought some time again. They really have to nail this stance, and they have found Uni. Uni has to get out.
Oh, really good burst, but just not enough to finish it entirely. So they still surprisingly hold on to these turrets in that mid lane. The tier 1 standing for both sides. The burst damage is building up. Now it's up for SRG to kind of dodge these arrows around. Lord's coming up in a couple seconds. We'll see if they still decide, let's just go for this turret, open up the map a little bit. and then make something happen. But mid lane is where it's going. Yumes, is he going to go for the mount here? He's quite low. Very dangerous. He's going to pop the conceal just for safety. Get back to base. KAZUE waiting for patiently waiting here. He's going to go for Stormy. Good burst damage. Oh, he pops the beacon just for the shield to stay alive. And now Kram zoned out as well. They both have to go heal back up. Flying Clouds, though, will bring them back quickly. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to just clearly take this Lord as SRG is now in the area. They're going to go ahead and drop down the muddles, forcing XC back. Stormy and Kram back for the fight. They can go ahead and re-engage. Blossvet charging up. He's going to go in, jumping on in, and Yumes is the one to get the Lord and take out KAZUE. SRG somehow gets the objective.
That would have been really good for FUT Esports because they already nailed the stun. The stun actually hit Uni, but KAZUE being down means that that's a difficult scenario for FUT Esports nonetheless. Selangor Giant secures the Lord, and now they have taken out XC. Just like that, it's Melissa time at 10 minutes into this game. Trinity picked up by Innocent is now a big threat for FUT Esports to deal with. And when we said earlier that the Selena is not usually the hero that you want against the Melissa, we are now feeling it. FUT Esports now in massive trouble against SRG.
Yeah, this is really a tough situation to be in, but they can still clear this Lord out, I would say, relatively well. Given the fact that, you know, they're tanky enough to hold up. These shields are still up, so they're going to pop up top and in the mid. It's going to do most of the damage. Conceal is going to be used. SRG wants this turret, though, so that is going to be a base turret going down. Blossvet jumps in with a Rage Revenge combo, but he just eats too much damage. An arrow thrown out, but RX is gone as well. SRG looking to take down another base turret if they can, but they've got no waves pushing in.
Clean take, all things considered there for SRG, as that was just the first Lord and they've already managed to take out one inhibitor. XC again overstepping. You cannot survive the glue in the Melissa. Now I understand why it makes total sense here. At the side of SRG, it looks really good because you have so much energy. You can take one down easily.
Oh, they're going to take out KAZUE easily. They still have this cannon minion here. Can they potentially destroy the crystal? They're going to be working on it. But they're trying to buy enough time. They got another wave to push in here. And SRG, under the 12th minute mark, looks to take game one. A blazing duet comes through, but the Wind of Nature is going to pop, and he's just going to lock down on the base. The crystal is there. Another wave is pushing through, and FUT Esports is able to clear out the minions so far. XC taking up a brunt of the damage. They took out Innocent finally, but RX is still up. He's going for Kram. They're trying to take him out. They will. But they have a wave in mid, but still, KAZUE will be up, and SRG has to go back.
And smartly, Selangor Giants will not engage anymore. FUT Esports really have to be careful about jumping and diving in front of SRG members whenever Yumes is available, and at this point, anyone can be taken out by the Melissa. However, FUT Esports still defended. May have lost all of their two of their turrets, but they still keep themselves alive. Gonna be waiting for the next spawn of the Lord, and hopefully they can get something. They can get some. They can make something happen out of it. But as it stands, it's FUT Esports not having a good time in game number one.
Even looking at this difference here, you know, they're quite outgunned in certain lanes across the board. One of the big things is why they can't actually fight these fights just face front. If you're FUT Esports, they really got to respect this kind of power spike and advantage. Whoa, they took out Yumes though. So take out Yumes, that gives you a moment here to make something happen. Arrow's going to be thrown out. They're going to go for Blotzfett. So hey, both roamers down, evens out the ground, but a wave is pushing up top. So FUT Esports is going to have to deal with this. Instead, they're going to be caught in a fight. XC trying to get away here, but the Infernal Pursuit will keep them from getting away as XC falls. Now SRG has been working on this Lord the whole time. It's already at half health. They'll be able to secure this and then start marching towards the base to take game one from FUT Esports, unless FUT Esports can defend again.
How can they defend? It's the Nolan, it's the Claw that they will have to depend on. Selangor Giants, with the leadership of Kram right now, is really making it difficult for FUT Esports to get their foot in the door, actually. But they still have the Selena, and this is your win condition. There will be games that are turned around by the Selena. But now, when we talk about how they should be careful around showing themselves again, the glue, paying dividends for the side of Selang or Red Giants.
There we go. They got to clear out this Lord. KAZUE jumping in on that front side. Exy trying to buy enough time, too. The base is going to be worked on, though. Even with the Blazing Duet, he's gone. RX is just gone so quickly. Even before you know it, base exposed. They're going to go for it and lock in game one. But SRG looks to take another kill, but they'll take the game anyway.
Clean. After their reaction to what FUT Esports did in the first few minutes, it was very clean. They understood their power spike, they knew how to utilize this PHOVEUS, and most importantly, they made this glue plus the Melissa work. More on this series of SRG versus FUT Esports after this break. See you guys later.